Hi everyone, my name is Taylor Christensen and this is my presentation on decision making in a global pandemic. So the demographics of my zombie apocalypse world was called Taylorville. The type of government was democratic. The type of economy was free market capitalism. We had over 100 million people. I only received 2 out of 12 points pre-simulation, and I put 1 towards health, 1 towards military. And then the characteristics of Taylorville is culture of honesty and transparency and constitutionally guaranteed rights. So the decisions made, decision 1, I chose to ban the pilgrimage outright, increase police presence along major routes to Faith Tower. Decision 2, go public with the defect, publicly commit to government support for a new and improved device. Decision 3, do not subsidize the drug, continue to educate the public about the efficacy of the drug. Decision 4, do not run the software. Work with the public health officials on other ways to improve the accuracy of information about the outbreaks. And Decision 5, do not order the assault, send more medical teams in to support efforts to find a cure. I made all these decisions with being ethical in mind. And then here's my outcome. So 13% of my population was infected. There was a medium morale and an 18% likelihood of societal collapse. I'm not sure how that compares to other people, but I feel like it was not too terrible. So adaptive leadership strategies I would implement next time I did this is follow the 5 key behaviors of successful leaders, practice flexibility, create organizational relationships, and utilize team decision making. So a quote I found in one of the articles we had to read this week was, adaptive approaches are capable of dealing with complexity, unpredictability, and change. When you're working in something like COVID or this, you have to be able to adapt and deal with things that are unpredictable. So the 5 key behaviors of successful leaders is 1, adapting to the changing external pressures facing the organization. As a leader, there's always going to be some kind of external pressures. 2, adjusting leadership and management style to the changing situation. That's literally the definition of adaptive leadership, is adjusting your leadership style. 3, accepting change as positive. If you're not changing, then you're failing. So knowing that you're changing and adapting should be a positive in the company. 4, revising plans as necessary. And then 5, considering other people's concerns during change. You need to be able to have emotional intelligence and know what your employees are feeling and going through. So you want to practice flexibility. I found an article called Adapting to Change Requires Flexible Leaders, and they said, inflexible leaders limit the workplace adaptability of others. New initiatives may be halted or stifled. Resistance to change may undermine critical projects or system-wide implementation, causing not only setbacks in progress, but also leading to anxiety and negative emotions for other team members. And then Dunn also said, a clear goal is still necessary, but the pathway to achieve it will be difficult to predetermine with specificity. You have to be flexible. So the 3 types of flexibility are cognitive, which is the ability to use different strategies and framework mentally in planning. 2, emotional flexibility, the leader's ability to change their approach when dealing with others' emotions. And 3, dispositional flexibility. This describes a leader's ability to remain optimistic but realistic. So you also need to create organizational relationships. Creating positive relationships between leaders and employees is extremely important. In the article I found called The Importance of Building Relationships in Leadership Positions, it names 4 keystones of relationship-based leadership. 1 is having good intentions. You need to be ethical. 2, being empathetic. You have to have empathy for your employees. 3, respecting your employees, and typically they'll respect you back. And then 4, if you follow those 3, then the trust should come automatically. There was a quote I took out of this. It said, all good business leaders share one trait, an emphasis on building relationships at their company. And then utilize team decision making. So skills for collaborative leaderships is empathetic listening. The purpose is to understand your speaker's perspective. You don't want to go and make decisions before they finish talking. You want to make sure that you let them finish talking. 2, social sensitivity. Team members need to speak roughly about the same amount as you. Not one person should dominate the conversation. And then 3, visual thinking, which is the use of sketches and pictures to illustrate a concept. And then you need to know when to make solo and when to make group decisions. When to make solo decisions is when you have a pressing deadline. 2, if your team is stalled and can't make a decision. And then 3, if there's an emergency because there's no time. And then when to make group decisions, if there's increased workloads, if you're changing the tasks of your employees, or if you need to rebuild trust after having a poor leadership decision. If you involve your employees in your new decisions, it can help regain that trust and build that relationship back up. And then here are my sources.